somehow getting all those chords and the fingers together and all that takes a little bit of time and effort. Let's do that one more time. Start on that C chord. Now switch to that G7th. You may have to do it finger by finger, or if you can do it all together, that's even better. Let's do a G7th. Back to the C chord now. 5-string chord, remember. Don't play that lowest 6th string. Back to G7. All the strings are used on the G7. And then back to the C. Take a look at exercise number 2. This is called slash notation. You'll see this quite a bit as a guitar player. This is something we play in quite a bit. The different slashes, all that's telling you at this stage of the game is just you're going to be strumming one strum for each slash that you see. Okay, so let's get our C chord back up again. And let's do exercise number 2. Ready, play. 3, 4, then the next measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now G7th. Switch over to G7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back to that C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now take a look at exercise number 3. Now we're going to alternate those chords a little bit quicker, which is, I know it's probably getting a little fast for you, but let's try it. You ready? Start on that C. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to the G7. Try and not hesitate between each chord. Back to C. G7th. There you go. Back to C. Very good. That's the C, and that's the G7th chord. Now, it may have moved a little fast for you. You may have trouble keeping up at this point, but after we do it, and we go through our workshop time here in a minute, then you'll be able to knock these out pretty quickly. Okay, welcome to Guitar Tips. On this segment, we're going to talk about specific things that have to do with guitar playing that aren't necessarily the technique stuff that we've been covering in the other section. These are some things, these are some items that I would suggest you get from the very beginning if you're interested in starting to play guitar. You can pick these up on our website, or you can also check your local music store. First thing we're going to talk about is one of the most useful things is an electric guitar tuner. They come in different shapes and sizes. This is a pretty standard one. You would plug your guitar in, so your guitar would have to have a pickup in it, either an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar like this one that does have a pickup in it. And you plug it in, and it helps your guitar tune. And as you can see, the tuning is a little bit of a tricky subject if you try and do it manually. So an electric tuner like this, sometimes you don't even need a pickup. They have microphones in them, and you just play the note, and it tells you whether you need to loosen the string or whether you need to tighten the string. And when you get when you get the dot in the middle, then you're in tune. Another thing I would suggest you get right from the very beginning is a string winder. A little thing like this, probably just cost $1 or $2. When you're changing strings, this is a lifesaver because you'll be winding and winding these strings all day long if you don't have a string winder. So it's well worth the $1.50 to get one of these. Next thing I would suggest is a case. Some of you may have cases that come with your guitar. A lot of guitars don't come with cases. They just come in a boxed shipping container. So you don't want to use that as your case. It's good for you to go ahead and get a case. Now there's 3 different types. You can get a hardwood case, which that's the strongest you can get. And that's maybe a little bit more than you're wanting to spend. They're pretty pricey, but they do protect your instrument the best it can be. Kind of a step down from that is called a chipboard case. It's a solid case, but it's almost made out of a cardboard, a strong cardboard material. That's a chipboard case. That's good for lugging your guitar around, getting it in and out of the car, that sort of thing. The third type of case is a soft case, a padded case. You put your guitar in this, kind of zip it all up, carry it on your back, and carry it in and out of the car. It isn't as protective as the hard cases, but it does offer some great advantages in portability. Some other little things that I would suggest you get are a metronome. Here's a pretty standard metronome. They also come in different kinds too. Only thing a metronome does is click off a tempo, a good steady tempo. I can speed it up and slow it down. They have electronic ones as well. Now I'd encourage you to get, there's all kinds of metronomes. Some of them offer a beep where it just beeps at you. Other ones, you have a click, and I would definitely recommend you get the ones that have a click, not that has a little beep that goes past. It sounds good when you're listening to it, but when you actually start playing with one that has a beep, you'll realize it's much better to have one that has a click. Also, I would encourage you to get a music stand. You can get the little wire ones, or you can get a little bit more sturdy metal music stands. Place for you to put your music, put your resources that you're going off of, so you're not just sitting on the couch looking at it far away at a coffee table or something like that. Now, some other things I would suggest that you have done with your guitar, because you want to make sure that your guitar is easy to play. There's nothing worse than playing a guitar that is just difficult to play. It gets you frustrated, hurts your fingers, and you end up wanting to chuck the whole thing. So it's a very good idea to have your guitar set up, is what they call it. Is have a setup done on your guitar. What they do is they look at your guitar, and they look and make sure that whether your neck is straight. You can do a visual check of that at yourself at home by just kind of looking down the neck of your guitar and making sure it's pretty straight. You don't want it bowing in or bowing back out again. And they can adjust your guitar through a metal rod that's actually inside of your sound hole here. It's called a truss rod. So it can be adjusted. It's not that big of a deal at all. The other thing that you want to check on your guitar is the bridge. Your bridge is this right here. Remember, we talked about that. You want to make sure there's no gaps between it and the soundboard. There should be no gaps. If there is gaps, that means it's pulling up, and that's not good news. You also want to have adjusted, and this is part of a setup job, is your action. What action is the distance of the strings from the fretboard. The higher this is, the wider that action is, the more difficult that guitar is going to be able to play. The closer that is to these frets, the easier it's going to be able to play. If your guitar is hard and difficult to finger and to get those notes down without buzzing, have your action checked. That's probably one of the best things you could do. How should you take care of your guitar? Well, just for a second, let's talk about that. You don't want to get your guitar too hot. You don't want to get your guitar too cold. Your guitar really is just wood and glue. And so if you get this thing too hot, it starts warping and coming undone. I can put a heat lamp on this bridge, and in about 5 minutes it peels right up. So it really is just wood and glue. So you just want to make sure you don't do stupid things like take your guitar in the car in the mall. It's in the middle of summertime. That temperature inside your car is probably going to get about 150 degrees at least, and that's well enough to do pretty serious damage to your guitar. So you just want to be real careful with that. It can be hot, but not really hot. Also, you don't want to get your guitar super cold or change temperature really fast. It's in the middle of the winter, your guitar's been out in the car, it's well below freezing, you bring it in, whip it out, you're going to practice like I said you should, that's great, but you set your guitar next to a heater vent. That would be bad. Your guitar, ever so slightly, expands and contracts, and it would crack the finish on top of your guitar. It won't affect how it's going to sound, but it's not going to look very pretty from then on, and once you crack your finish, there's no going back. It's like cracking a windshield on a car. Last thing, you want to be careful not to set anything on top of your guitar. Even when you put it in the case, you don't want to put your music on top of your guitar or put any weight on it down this way. There's just not any bracing that way, and it could crack. Those are just some tips on caring for your instrument and knowing what to look for and some things you should buy at the very beginning. All right, here's your assignment for this session. We've covered a lot of ground, but here's what you need to do in order to move on for the next session. Do all of the finger exercises in your book on all of the strings to toughen up your fingers and also to build motor skill development and control. Second thing you need to do, memorize the names of your strings. Third thing you need to do, practice that C and G7 chord and the exercises that are with it. Each note should sound out clearly, and try not to hesitate when you're changing chords. If you do all of these things, and practice them faithfully over the next coming days, you will be ready for the next level. And I'm going to help you practice when we get to the workshop time. I'll see you there. Okay, welcome to the guitar workshop time. This is the portion where we get to practice together. First thing we do before we practice, we're going to do a little hand stretching exercise. So I want you to get your hands, put them fingertip to fingertip, start pressing down. We're stretching out these muscles. You're not trying to break your fingers now. You're just trying to stretch them down. Last thing to come down is your palm. Then your palm comes up. Stretch these out here. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel those muscles stretching out in there? That's a good way to get your hands warm before we get ready to play. Now let's do these finger exercises that we talked about on your page. We're going to start out with the first finger exercise, number 1. Remember, we're going down, up with our hand, right hand, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1 with our left hand. We will do it slowly at first, and then we'll play it one time a little bit faster. Here we go. Down, up with our pick. Ready, go. First finger. Second finger. Third finger. Fourth finger. Back to third. Second. First. Let's do that again. Go back up to second. Second. There you go. Third. Fourth. Third. Bracing your hand, slow and steady. Make sure your fingers are doing exactly what they need to be doing. Very good. Now we're going to do that one just a little bit slightly faster. See if you can keep up. Ready, go. Your fingers should be moving just like a machine. Back to third. The fingers that aren't being used should be just hovering right above the fretboard where they need to go. Slow, even strokes. Try it one more time, a little bit faster. Ready, go. Very good. Let's go to the second string. What's the name of that second string? That's your B string. Let's try it. Here we go. Ready, go. Very good. Now let's do it on the third string. Ready, play. Fourth string. Nice and even and steady. You're doing great. Keep those fingers down. Fifth string, try it. Ready, go. First, last string, low E string, and ready, play. Keep that wrist down. Make sure you're bracing on that right hand. Good pick position. These are a little bit tougher to push down. You may be buzzing on a couple of these. Remember to be hugging up right behind that fret. And here we go. Very good. That's exercise number 1. Let's do exercise number 2. Now instead of going down, up, we're just going to go down, up. Okay, let's go back to our first string again. Ready, go. Down, up, third finger. Second string, go. Third string a little bit faster now. Fourth string a little bit faster even still. There you go, try and keep up. Fifth string. Last one, sixth string, go. Very good. Exercise 3. Now we're just doing down, just one on each. Okay, we'll start a little bit slower. Back on that. Well, let's go back to that sixth string. Let's start there. Change it up a little bit. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Next string, go. Fourth string, go. Third string, go. Second string, a little bit faster. There you go. Get those fingers working. First string. Good. Exercise 4, remember, goes 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. First string, ready, go. 1, 2, then 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Let's go to third string. Ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Skip over to the fifth string. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Last exercise there. I believe it's your fifth exercise there. 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. Let's touch on that. First string. Ready, go. 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. Second string. 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. Third string. Very good. A little bit faster. Fourth string. Fifth string. A little bit faster. Sixth string. A little bit faster still. Okay, now let's work on our chords. Remember our 2 chords that we did? The C one is the first one. Let's make sure we form it right. It's a 5-string chord. Third finger on that 5th string. 3rd fret, 2nd finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. The G on the 3rd string is open. 1st finger on that 2nd string, 1st fret, C. And the last one is open. Play them all together. Now all at the same time. That's our C chord. Let's form our G7th chord. Switch our fingers over. Remember, your 3rd and your 2nd finger just need to go up one string set, and they're already where they need to be. Move that first finger down one string set, and he's where he needs to be. G7th chord, let's go through one note at a time. All together. All right, now we're going to jump between those chords. Okay, starting on exercise 1 on the chord examples. Starts on the C chord. Let's do 4 counts for each one of those notes that you're holding it for. So let's go. Ready, play. C chord. 1, 2, 3. Now change to that G7th. Go. 2, 3. Back to the C now. 2, 3. G7th. 2, 3, 4. And back to the C. Pretty good. Let's try it. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Ready, play. C. 1, 2, 3. G7th. 2, 3. Back to C. 2, 3. G7th. 2, 3. Back to C. Great. Let's move on to exercise number 2. Remember, we do a strum for each slash that's on the page. Remember, for a C chord, don't be hitting that low 6th string. Just 5 strings on the C chord. Ready? Let's start it nice and slow. Exercise 2. Ready, go. Slow, even strums. 1, 2, 3. G7th now. Switch your fingers over. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. Pretty good. Let's try it one more time. Ready? A little bit faster this time. Starting on the C. Ready? Another one. There you go. Here comes that G7. Go. Get ready for that C chord. Be thinking where you need to put your fingers. Go. Very good. One more time. A little bit faster. Ready? Go. Even strums. Push down those fingers nice and hard. Very good. Let's move on to exercise number 3. Now we're going to switch those chords a little bit faster. We're going to go between the C and the G7, but only 4 beats in between each. Ready, play. C. Now G7. Back to the C. G7. Back to the C. How are you doing? You hanging in there? Let's do it one more time. A little bit faster this time. Ready, go. G7. Back to C. Pretty good. G7 and C. Okay, this will be the last time we're going to do it, so we're really going to kick it up a notch on the speed. See if you can keep up. Ready, go. G7. Back to C. G7. And back to C. Very good. I hope you've learned something this first session. A couple of things I want you to think about as you're practicing. Remember, about 15 minutes or more, 5 out of 7 days of the week is a good place to start on practicing. You will only improve by the amount of effort that you put in it. Man, I wish I could just tell you the information and you would get it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that you got to do on your end, which is practicing. So I'd encourage you to do that. 5 out of 7 days a week, 15 minutes or more. If you can pull up to 30 minutes 5 out of 7 days of the week, that's great. Doesn't have to be at the same block either. You can just do a few minutes in the morning, maybe a few minutes at night. Keep working hard at it, and I'll see you next time.